It's David, but this time I'm not at the Environmental Center. I'm up in the Adirondacks of New York State, the Adirondack Wilderness Area, Farrow Mountain Wilderness Area, and I'm at a pond called Grizzle Ocean Pond. And I wanted to show you my gear. Actually, here's the lean-to, but I'm not going to stay in the lean-to. I've got a setup that I want to share with you, and this is very much a modern setup. Sometimes, or in some of the activities in the box are primitive skill activities, like making cordage, right? If you were to build a shelter out of debris you find on the ground, that would be a primitive skill. Definitely, wilderness survival skill. But I'm out here doing some modern camping, and I wouldn't exactly call this roughing it. What I'm doing is really smoothing it. I'm enjoying myself out here. I brought the gear with me, and I want to show you what I have. All right, so I'm going to be staying in a hammock. I've got a tarp here, a Warbonnet Superfly tarp, full coverage, so that if it rains, I'm well protected. It also blocks the wind really well, and the wind's been whipping today, so I'm glad I have a big tarp to block the wind. But inside, I've got my hammock. It's a Warbonnet hammock, and it's got an underquilt. That's a quilt underneath it, so my backside doesn't get cold. And then there's a quilt inside as well. And that quilt is like a sleeping bag, but you don't tuck into it. It's the same material, but it just kind of acts like a blanket, so you're warm on top and bottom. And it's got a bug net, so if the wind stops and the black flies and the mosquitoes and the gnats do come out, I'm going to be very well protected in that bug net. I actually paddled to get here. I paddled across Putnam Pond, and then I portaged. I carried the boat on my shoulders about a mile to get over here to Grizzle Ocean Pond. So I brought with me a lightweight pack canoe. That canoe's only about 22 pounds. And then I had a dry bag, this orange bag that everything's sitting on. That's a 70-liter dry bag that I wore as my backpack. Dry bag meaning, if it gets wet, it's well protected. I was able to fit all my gear in that pack. So I've got a food bag here. I brought a couple things to eat. I'm not out here picking wild edibles, although if I see some, I might. But I brought some good food. I'm out here smoothing it, not roughing it. So I have some good food to eat. I've got a cook kit here. So I've got a Moore's pot, a small Moore's pot, a cold handle pan, so I can boil, I can fry, bowls to eat out of, and this all fits neatly inside. Everything nests nice and neat, so I can pack it tight. To cook, I can cook on wood. I can gather up some pine needles and birch bark and hemlock twigs and dead and down branches, and I could use fire. But I also brought some compressed gas here, so I can spin this on, and I can cook over gas just like you might at home. I've also got my clothing bag, some rain gear, some extra warm gear in there. These are hydro socks, so I can get them wet, but my feet stay warm with this material. I've got my poop kit. You have to have your toilet paper and hand sanitizer ready. I've got a bug net, so if the bugs do come out, I can put that on. It's like a jacket made out of mesh. Quite a bit of fishing gear. I do love to fish, and I'd like to try to catch some trout, some brook trout out in the lakes. I've got my fishing license. If you're under 16, at least in New Jersey, you don't need a fishing license. I'm not sure what the rule is up here in New York, but I'm over 16. I need to purchase a fishing license. So I paid $50 for a 1-year fishing license for New York State. And that allows me to fish and keep fish, and that helps to support the fisheries in these natural, beautiful areas we have, and access to them. So I'm proud to purchase that fishing license and support the fisheries. I've also got a Nalgene bottle, good strong water bottle. I can fill that up at the pond, and then I can use my UV light, my SteriPen. For 1 minute I would spin this, and it would disinfect the water in the Nalgene, as long as the water appears clean. If it were muddy, then that UV filter wouldn't work. But if I scoop that up in a clean, clear pond, which this pond here is, then I could use that UV pen. Also got some sunscreen. You have to have the sunscreen. You don't want to burn out there with the reflection on the water. Some extra paracord, bug spray, Benadryl. If I get bug bites, I'm going to put that on, and I'm not going to itch them. If I itch them, those bug bites aren't going to go away very quickly. So I try to put that Benadryl on and leave them alone. Here is a saw. So a small handsaw, very sharp, very quick to help me acquire firewood. Sunglasses, eyeglasses, a full tang knife, a compass, a light stick, a ferro rod for throwing sparks, a sack farmer, Swiss Army knife farmer, some cordage, some wax fire starter discs. Actually, I put all this into this kit here, and then I put that in a pocket, so I have those items with me all the time. So if I were to get lost or something, I've got basically some essentials to help make things easier for myself. I'm also always wearing a necklace that has a lighter and a whistle. So when I first thing I did when I got out of my car is I put that on, and that way I always have that on me. I even sleep with it on. So like if I were to wake up, get out of my tent, my hammock, and go to the bathroom or something, and then I get turned around and I'm lost, well, I've got a whistle and I've got a lighter. So that's kind of an essential thing out here in the wilderness that I think it's just an easy thing everybody could do, to just for some self-reliance. I also have a headlamp, and I'm going to put that in my pocket soon. I don't want to be fumbling for it when it does get dark. I just want to have it and know where it is. A pillow, I should blow that up and put it in the hammock. And then I've got my night kit here, which has a book, and it's got a cell phone charger and another little mini light for reading. Yeah, that's my gear. That's what I've got with the I showed you the boat, the Hornbeck Classic 12, and 2 fishing poles, a net, and a kayak double paddle. So if you guys have gear questions, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'd be glad to chat with you about camping gear or any other wilderness skills, survival, nature questions. You're welcome to reach out to me, and hopefully I'll see you out there one day at the Environmental Center for some programming. We've got a lot of wonderful programming, and I hope you guys are enjoying the Camp in the Box activities, but it would be wonderful to see you all in person. Thanks. Stay wild.